You can feel it, can't you? The distance. The silence. The way her smile doesn't quite reach her eyes anymore. Something's off. But every time you bring it up, she says you're paranoid, too emotional, or worse, controlling. But deep down, your gut is screaming the truth you don't want to hear. This isn't about jealousy. This isn't about being insecure. This is about the truth. The kind of truth that creeps in quietly, like a slow poison. The kind that turns a warm home cold. And if you ignore it long enough, it breaks you. In today's video, we're diving deep into the 10 signs your wife might be cheating, and what each one really means, psychologically, emotionally, and behaviorally. Because these signs aren't just about cheating. They're about something deeper, the breakdown of trust, connection, and respect. These signs are subtle at first. A guarded phone. A new password. Late nights at work that never used to happen. But over time, they start to stack up. You notice her pulling away emotionally. Avoiding physical closeness. Picking fights over the smallest things. And suddenly, you feel like a stranger in your own relationship. And the hardest part? You can't prove it, yet. But you feel it. In her tone. In her silence. In the way she now dresses up when she's not with you. In the way she used to ask about your day, but now she barely listens. Cheating doesn't always look like lipstick on a collar or perfume on his shirt. Sometimes, it looks like emotional distance. Disinterest. Protecting a phone like it holds the nuclear codes. Sometimes it sounds like, you're just overthinking, when you question her lies. And sometimes, it's your own mind screaming at you while your heart begs for it to be wrong. In this video, we're not just exposing the signs. We're decoding the why. Why she's pulling away. Why she's suddenly too busy. Why you feel like you're the only one holding the relationship together. And we're doing it with raw honesty. No sugarcoating. No vague advice. Whether you're trying to save your marriage, seeking clarity, or simply need to hear what your gut has been telling you all along, this video will give you the insight, strength, and awareness you've been searching for. Because the truth isn't meant to hurt you. It's meant to free you. Stay with me. Because sign number 1 will change the way you see everything. Sign 1, she becomes emotionally distant. There's a type of silence that doesn't scream, it whispers. It lingers. It changes the air in the room. When a woman begins to detach emotionally from her partner, it can be one of the earliest and most telling signs of infidelity. Unlike men, who often separate emotion from physical acts of cheating, many women invest emotionally first. And when that investment is being made elsewhere, the emotional bonds at home weaken. Here's how that looks in real life. No more, "How was your day?" Where once she would ask, listen, and engage in your stories, now there's indifference. Polite nods replace meaningful engagement. Reduced affection. Hugs feel forced. Kisses become mechanical. And conversations grow shallow. Defensiveness. When you bring up the emotional shift, she gets irritated not because you're wrong, but because deep down, she knows something changed. Lost eye contact. The intimacy in her gaze fades. Eye contact once filled with warmth becomes either cold or avoidant. The bedtime wall. Conversations in bed vanish. Physical touch lessens. She turns away not just from you, but from the relationship. But here's the twist: emotional distance doesn't always mean cheating. It can mean stress, trauma, or depression. What distinguishes emotional withdrawal due to cheating is this. She's not just pulling away from you, she's investing elsewhere. She's on her phone more, talking to friends she won't name, or disappearing emotionally for hours without explanation. You feel her drift towards someone or something that's not you. Sign 2, she guards her phone like her life depends on it. In today's digital world, smartphones are more than just devices. They are digital diaries filled with messages, photos, secrets, habits, schedules, and traces of our personal lives. Naturally, everyone values a level of privacy. But when privacy transforms into hypervigilant secrecy, especially from your spouse, it's time to pause and take notice. You may find yourself wondering, wasn't she always open with her phone before? When did she become so secretive? Why does she act nervous every time it buzzes? These aren't just paranoid thoughts, they're often early indicators of hidden behavior, especially when coupled with a dramatic shift in openness. Let's break it down further. Key red flags to watch out for. 1. Sudden password changes. Perhaps the most obvious warning sign is when she changes her phone's password and doesn't share it with you like she used to. Before, you may have known the passcode or she didn't mind you picking up her phone to look up something. Now, she's set a new password and gets uneasy if you even look in the direction of her screen. This shift in access isn't about digital security. It's about protecting information from you specifically. And if you ask about the password and she deflects, laughs it off, or becomes irritated, that defensiveness is often a mask for guilt or fear of discovery. 2. Her phone is glued to her 24/7. She takes it everywhere, to the bathroom, to the shower, even to bed when she never used to. A once shared habit like leaving the phone on the kitchen counter or nightstand while cooking or watching TV has now vanished. Her phone never leaves her sight. She might check it under the table at dinner or keep it face down during conversations. Small actions, yes, but cumulatively, they speak volumes. This hyper-awareness is a common tactic for someone who fears a message, notification, or call might pop up and reveal something. 3. Deleted messages, call logs, or apps. If you happen to glance at her phone and notice no message history even though she texts all day, empty call logs, or you hear notification sounds but no trace of the apps when you look, these aren't accidents. They're deliberate erasures. Deleting digital breadcrumbs is a huge red flag, especially if it becomes routine. Most people don't go through the hassle of erasing calls and messages unless they're actively hiding something. She may even use encrypted apps like WhatsApp, Signal, or Snapchat, apps that are known for disappearing messages or private chats. 4. Defensive or hostile behavior when questioned. When you bring up her phone usage or ask a simple question like, "Who are you texting?" does she respond with, "Why are you always spying on me? You're acting crazy. I have a right to my privacy." You're not accusing, you're asking. But instead of giving a calm answer, she goes on the offensive. Sign 3. Her routine changes for no clear reason. Relationships thrive on familiarity. Whether it's the way she kisses you goodbye in the morning, her nightly skincare routine, or her usual texts during lunch, these daily rhythms are what build trust, connection, and emotional stability. So when those patterns start shifting suddenly and without explanation, it can feel like you're waking up next to a stranger. This isn't just about being late from work once or twice. It's about repeated, unexplained behavioral changes that slowly begin to replace consistency with confusion. It's subtle, but you feel it. Something is different. Off. Like the version of her you knew has evolved into someone just beyond your reach. Key indicators that her routine is hiding something. 1. Unexplained absences become the norm. She used to be home by 6:30. Now it's closer to 8 o'clock, often with a vague excuse. Work ran late. I had to grab a drink with coworkers. I stopped by the store. But these stories start feeling rehearsed. There's little detail. You don't know who she was with, what store she went to, or why this sudden change in schedule became so frequent. Sometimes she may not even volunteer the excuse you have to ask. That's when you know something is different. People in healthy relationships are naturally inclined to share their day. If she starts skipping that ritual, she's distancing herself emotionally, and possibly hiding something logistically. 2. New hobbies or interests that don't include you. Suddenly, she's into yoga or rock climbing. Or volunteering at an organization you've never heard of. New hobbies are great, everyone grows. But when these hobbies are time-consuming, suddenly she's busy 3 nights a week. Secretive, she doesn't invite you or tell you much. And connected to unknown people, oh, just some friends from the group. Then the red flag begins to wave. Affairs often start when people step into new environments. A new gym, class, or community group creates fertile ground for forming emotional, and sometimes physical, bonds outside the marriage. And when someone wants to keep that bond hidden, they invent a reason to be away without arousing suspicion. 3. Vague, recycled excuses. Have you ever noticed how the explanations become repetitive? I was just working late. I was with a friend. I had to run errands. These phrases are used like shields, designed to end the conversation before it starts. If she gets annoyed when you ask for more details or changes the subject quickly, that's a behavioral smokescreen. This kind of vagueness isn't just lazy storytelling, it's strategic. The less you know, the less you can question. 4. Increased time away from home. She used to spend weekends relaxing with you. Now she's out with friends, visiting family, or going on solo adventures far more often than before. Even if you want to be understanding, it starts to feel like she prefers being away from home. Sign 5. She becomes emotionally unavailable. In a loving relationship, you expect to be emotionally close to your partner. You share inside jokes, vent about your day, discuss your dreams, and support each other's struggles. But suddenly, the conversations grow shallow. The laughter fades. The long talks stop. You're in the same house, in the same room, yet it feels like there's a thick wall between you. That's what emotional unavailability looks like. And when it appears suddenly or grows stronger over time, it could be a sign that your wife's heart and mind are invested somewhere else, possibly with someone else. What does emotional unavailability actually mean? It's not about being cold all the time. It's about being detached, disconnected, and no longer present in the relationship. She's physically there, but emotionally gone. You ask her how her day was, she gives one-word answers. You try to cuddle on the couch, she pulls out her phone. You open up about your problems, and she seems uninterested or distracted. And worst of all, she no longer shares her own thoughts, fears, or feelings with you. When a wife becomes emotionally unavailable, it creates a relationship that feels hollow. She's no longer invested. She's no longer in it with you. Key indicators of emotional unavailability. 1. Conversations become surface level. There was a time when you stayed up for hours talking about everything, life, work, dreams, memories. Now, everything's transactional. What do you want for dinner? Don't forget to pick up the kids. I'm going to bed. No depth. No spark. Just logistics. 2. She stops sharing her world. She used to tell you about her annoying coworkers, her worries, her passions. Now, silence. You find out about her life after the fact, or worse, through social media or other people. She doesn't include you in her emotional world anymore, because she doesn't want you in it. 3. There's no emotional support. When you're struggling, she seems indifferent. She doesn't ask follow-up questions, doesn't comfort you, doesn't offer to help. And if she's upset or stressed, she shuts you out completely, or finds someone else to talk to. You stop being her emotional home. 4. She's easily irritated or dismissive. You ask a simple question, and she snaps. You try to connect, and she rolls her eyes. The emotional energy between you has shifted from warmth to coldness, and sometimes even hostility. That shift is telling. 5. Her phone gets more attention than you do. When a person checks out emotionally, they often replace intimacy with distraction, and the easiest form of distraction today is a phone. If she seems glued to her screen, emotionally distant, and uninterested in engaging with you, it's worth asking, who is she connecting with instead? The psychology behind emotional withdrawal. When a wife starts emotionally detaching, it's rarely random. Something deeper is at play. Sign 6, she's overcompensating with kindness. Buys you gifts just because, when she never used to. Overly nice after being gone for long periods. Sudden guilt-driven compliments and gestures. You sense a weird energy shift. She's present but emotionally distant. Her efforts feel performative, not sincere. Sign 7, she talks about another man too often, or never mentions him at all. A new male friend or coworker comes up repeatedly. Laughs at his jokes, brings up things he said. Or, she avoids mentioning a certain man entirely despite spending time around him. You catch glimpses of emotional infidelity in her tone. You start hearing his name more than your own. Sign 8, her appearance and confidence change abruptly. New wardrobe, lingerie, perfume without sharing why. Working out suddenly, even if she wasn't previously interested. Taking selfies more often, active on social media. Comments from others like, she's glowing lately. She's more body conscious especially around you. Sign 9, she becomes secretive about finances. Hidden credit card bills or cash withdrawals. Unfamiliar receipts, especially for hotel bookings, dinners, or travel. She insists on handling all the budgeting now. You're no longer included in joint spending decisions. You find evidence of gifts, travel, or double lives. Sign 10, your gut is screaming but she gaslights you. Every time you question something, she turns it around. You're made to feel jealous, insecure, or crazy. She manipulates your words to create emotional confusion. You start doubting yourself even though the signs are clear. Emotional gaslighting becomes more common than real conversations. Conclusion. A reminder, one sign alone isn't confirmation but patterns matter. What to do if you suspect infidelity: emotional clarity first, then careful confrontation. Protecting your mental health, self-respect, and dignity. Whether to rebuild or walk away, signs of remorse versus repeated betrayal. Moving forward with self-worth and emotional recovery.